He's on the phone and he says, right, Tristan's got a family emergency. You need to bring the helicopter from London to the Isle of Wight, pick Tristan up and take him to his grandmother's house right away. So I started working for my current boss back in October 2007. So what's that now? Almost 12 years ago. And so basically what had happened, he bought a 78-foot yacht, Italian-built yacht, from the company I was working for at the time. And the company put me on board to run the boat until he found somebody permanent. So after like 4, 5, 6 weeks, couldn't find anybody. We got on really well, the owner, myself. And then we agreed that I'd come work for him directly and permanently. And the plan was to take the boat, which was based in the south of Spain, a place called Puerto Banús, and take it to the south of France, get it coded for charter, keep it based in south of France, and then, you know, run all the charters from there, from Cannes actually. So I take the boat, I leave the company I was working for, but I didn't burn my bridges. I just went to speak to my old boss and I explained the situation to him, and he said like, no problem, Tristan, we understand. If it doesn't work out, you're always welcome to come back. So after 4 months of being in Marbella and Morocco, we then take the boat to Barcelona. This is around end of January now. And we're in Barcelona, we'd refueled. The next morning we had a fire on board, which subsequently left, as a result, it left nothing. There was nothing left of the boat, so it's basically burned down to the waterline. Everybody was okay, nobody was hurt. And so we were basically left with nothing, you know, no boats. I thought we had no job. Everything was gone. We literally escaped the boat. I escaped the boat in my underwear. You know, all the clothes are gone, passports, phones, wallets, all gone with the fire. Boss phones me up on my deckhand's phone and says, Tris, don't worry about it. We're going to sort everything out. We're going to sort you guys' flights back to Marbella, and everything will be okay. So we get to Marbella, and then I speak to him. He's like, well, where are you going to stay? I was like, well, I might move back into my mother's house. And he says, you know what? I've got a spare apartment that's not being used in Marbella. Go and stay there and we'll figure something out. So I thought, that's awesome, great, that's amazing. You know, what a great offer. So I get to the apartment in Marbella. I speak to the boss over the coming days and weeks, and he decides he wants to get another boat, similar size to the boat that burnt down. And so I gave him advice of what to buy, and it was a Lazara 75, which subsequently he still owns today. But there was going to be a 4 or 5 month delay. So for 4 or 5 months, I didn't have a boat to run. He let me stay in one of his apartments. He's paying my full salary, and he ordered the boat that I had recommended that he'd buy. And today I still think it's a fantastic boat. The boat is built in Florida. Lazara, unfortunately, they don't build boats anymore. They were built in Florida, and the idea was to have it shipped from the US to Southampton in the UK. We're going to use it in the UK for a week and then ship it down to Gibraltar, then take it into the Med. So I fly to the UK, meet the boat in Southampton, get the boat all ready. The boss comes down and he wants to use the boat for 4 or 5 days and take it to the Isle of Wight. So he comes down with his parents and some friends, and they come on board and we cruise over. Beautiful summer's day, like June, July time. Beautiful summer's day, cruise over to the Isle of Wight. We tie up alongside this jetty, and we order a taxi boat to take us further up the river because it's a bit shallower and we couldn't take Lizzie up there. And so we get up to this restaurant with this taxi boat, and we tie alongside. We get off and we get into the restaurant. We order drinks and lunch, and I get a phone call from my father. And so I excuse myself from the table and I'd go outside, answer the phone, and my grandmother had just passed away, which was a shock to the whole family because she was very healthy, she was very fit, she didn't have any medical conditions. So as you can imagine, I was caught off guard, I was in shock, and then I just burst out in tears. I couldn't face going back inside the restaurant to go and tell the boss what had happened. So I picked up my phone and I called him, and when he answered, I couldn't speak. He realized at that moment that something was wrong. So he comes outside and he sees I'm in tears. I explained to him that my grandmother passed away. He says, Tristan, I'm really, really sorry. Don't worry, we're going to sort this all out. And at this point, I had no idea what he meant by that. So in front of me, he gets on the phone to Marina Marbella, which is the old company that I used to work for, which sold him the boat. And he says to them, you need to send a captain right now to the Isle of Wight. Tristan has a family emergency and needs to leave straight away. So I thought to myself, that's really kind of him. You know, he doesn't need to do that. But I'm thinking to myself, well, if there's a new captain coming, how am I going to get from the Isle of Wight to Somerset in Taunton? Taunton and Somerset, which is on the south coast of the UK. So anyway, he puts the phone down from Marina Marbella. He then starts looking through his phone, types another number. I have no idea at this point who he's calling. He's on the phone and he says, right, Tristan's got a family emergency. You need to bring the helicopter from London to the Isle of Wight, pick Tristan up and take him to his grandmother's house right away. I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on here? You know, who is this guy? At this stage, I've been working for the guy 6, 7, 8 months. And he barely really knew me because after the fire, we didn't really see each other. And then this is the first few days of having Lizzie. And he does all this for me. So anyway, within an hour or 2 hours, I think it was, the helicopter landed. I went from the boat to the heliport with a taxi. The captain from Marina Marbella had arrived to take the boss and the guests back to Southampton. I get in the helicopter, we take off, and I can't remember how long the journey was, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, I don't really remember. I land about 20 minutes away from my grandmother's house. At this stage, my whole family's there. I got cousins, aunties, uncles, my father was there, the whole family was there, and they weren't expecting me to come. So I get into the cab, and the cab takes me to my grandmother's house, knock on the front door, my uncle opens the door, and he says, oh my God, what are you doing here? And I explained to him what happened, and he said, well, come on in. I go in, all the family at this time are in the living room. I walk in, and my dad's face just drops and says, how did you get here? And everybody looks like, how on earth did you get here? And me with my smug smile, you say, you know what I'm like? I'm yacht captain. I came down the helicopter. And everybody just burst out laughing. You know, it was a momentous occasion. It was a sad occasion, but it was nice to see all the family. And, you know, the reason I want to tell this story is because the super yacht industry gets so much negative press towards owners that they don't care about the crew, that they're nasty people. But my experience has been completely opposite. You know, the guy I work for, my boss, I've worked with him now for 12 years. I have so much respect for him. I got all the time in the world for him, and he'll do anything for anybody. He is the nicest guy, exceptionally smart, very successful in business, obviously. And for me, he is the best super yacht owner in the world, given that what he's done for me over the last 12 years.